Welcome back, ESPR Boxing's YouTube channel. Delighted to be joined by now. We have just seen ARTUR Beterbiev stop Callum Smith in round seven to retain his world titles at light heavyweight. Niall, thanks for joining me. It's late here in the UK/Ireland, so really appreciate it. Look, a dominating performance by ARTUR Beterbiev there. What did you make of it?
Just incredible. It's hard to put into words. The only way I can describe the man is he's our generation's George Foreman. I think he's soul destroying. Like he's not going to put you out with one shot. It's going to be a slow death. Every time he touches you, he takes apart your soul. He's just so frightening, and he's not even. It's not even the power, it's how clever he is with it. There's no wasted movement. He has the boxing pedigree and the technical kind of nous as well to go with it. He's frightening. He's right up there as one of the scariest fighters I think I've ever seen, especially below heavyweight. And as a Smith backer this week, and since the fight was announced, I'm left with an egg on my face, but. God, he's a joy to watch. Beterbiev is, he really is.
Yeah, look, it happens. I think we've all got big fights wrong in the past. We'll all get big fights wrong in the future. What went wrong for Callum Smith tonight? Is it just a case of he was like Callum Smith wasn't going to beat Beterbiev tonight, regardless of what he did? Did he not do enough in certain areas? What could Callum Smith have done differently tonight for you now?
I'm gonna say something, and I don't know, you might disagree with me, and I might be blinkered as a Smith fan, but it's a compliment to Beterbiev in the end by saying I thought Callum Smith actually fought really well tonight, and that just shows you how good the performance from Beterbiev was. You said it yourself in the chat earlier, like he was much better than even when he fought Canelo. Callum Smith, I thought his shots looked sharp early on. He was doubling up on the jab, the head and body. He was letting the left hook go, but it just wasn't putting a dent in Beterbiev. So in terms of what Callum Smith done wrong, I don't think he done any much wrong, to be honest. He just fell victim to a monster in Beterbiev, and what happened to him was what happened to everybody else. As soon as they felt the power, they knew that it was game over, to be honest.
Yeah, this is true. I think look, in my opinion, I think Callum Smith had a couple of moments in the fight. Did he hurt Beterbiev like Anthony Yard arguably did? I'd say no. But look, I would still argue he had some moments. Some of those rounds were competitive. I think the problem is that I don't like question. I would be interested to see what the scorecards look like. Um, but I would be interested to know. I'd be interested to know how many rounds you gave Smith at the end of the sixth as well. So we'll go into that at the end of the sixth. Yeah, at the end of the sixth. Now, how did you have it?
Again, it's gonna sound funny, like even if the scorecards are wide, maybe 1, 2 rounds at max for Smith. I still think he fought well, but only won about 1 or 2 rounds, and that's being kind. So
Yeah,
that's the ultimate compliment you can pay to Beterbiev. As I say, Smith fought well, but as you said yourself, I don't think he even hurt him as much as Yard did. He was landing crisp, sharp hooks, and it wasn't putting a dent in him. It wasn't phasing him at all. He just continued to storm forward. And yeah, so if I'm being the most generous I can, I'd say 2 rounds to Callum Smith. But even then, that's probably not likely and not going to be likely on the official scorecard. So
yeah. I personally had it. I gave Callum Smith 1 round. I don't think 2 rounds is outrageous. However, Callum Smith winning this fight on points was kind of going to be unlikely. He was only ever going to win this fight by stoppage, and the issue is that with that was he never looks like winning this fight by stoppage. We're going to move. Yeah, we'll move on to what's next now for both fighters. We'll start with Callum Smith. Um, what do you see happening now? I think an issue with light heavyweight now is we're expecting to see this undisputed fight go later in the year. So Callum Smith fighting for world title at light heavyweight might not happen anytime soon. There are possibly some big domestic fights happening at light heavyweight. There's possibly the winner of Buatsi Aziz. There's the Anthony Yard fight. There's, Callum Smith could be in a big fight, say June, July, August time this year. What do you think will be next for Callum Smith?
Personally, I think Callum Smith can definitely come again. And I love the idea of the Buatsi Aziz winner. I think that's a huge fight domestically. And stylistically, with whoever comes through that, I think it'll be a brilliant fight with Callum Smith. The only thing I will say is, and I thought about it watching the fight, is how much is he gonna have left after that? Because that takes part of your soul. We've seen it before. Fighters aren't the same. Like Alexander Gavo's like retired the first time for the first time after Beterbiev beat him. He retired straight after. Joe Smith Jr. hasn't been seen since, and that was a bad beating that Callum Smith took tonight. So hopefully he can still have something to give. But I just don't. I can't see him being the same man after that beating he just took. But if he is to come again, the Buatsi Aziz winner is still something I would be clamoring to see. I think that'd be a fantastic fight for Callum Smith.
Yeah, we shall see. Look, I I think with Callum Smith, like being unified super middleweight world champion, he has made money from this sport. He would have been paid well for the Canelo fight, the fight tonight, the fight against George Groves when he became world champion. He would have made some decent money from boxing. Um, so I think retirement will be an option for him. Um, so we'll see. Look, I'm interested. I would like to see Callum Smith come again. I think there's one thing kind of we've discussed over the last couple of days is possible a potential move up to cruiserweight. I personally love to see him do it. He's a big man, so I personally would love to see him kind of see what he can do at light heavyweight in the next 2 to 3 fights, and then next year see what he can do at cruiserweight. This might be a wild thing to say. I believe Callum Smith can win a world title at cruiserweight against a certain type of fighter, so we will see. Final question now. I'm not going to keep you much longer. It's extremely late here. It looks like we are set for one of the biggest fights to take place this year. ARTUR Beterbiev, Dimitri Bivol, will likely to happen in Saudi Arabia. Undisputed, both undefeated. Both looked very impressive the last couple of years. Who, who's your money on as things stand for that massive fight? It's a tough question to end the night on, but here we are.
It's very tough, and I'm gonna do it again. I know I sound crazy, but I'm gonna do it again, and I'm gonna pick against Beterbiev. But that's not saying that's nothing to do with age this time or injuries. I just think Bivol is brilliant, so I'd have to go Bivol. But again, that's not for the reasons that I picked Smith against Beterbiev. I think even at their best, and they're both incredible. But I just think Bivol, and it's not a confident pick. But if I had to choose, I just think, yeah, Bivol will find a way to avoid the power for 12 and be clever enough to kind of get a decision, a very close decision. But it's the dream fight for me in boxing, to be honest. I had two, it was Crawford Spence, and we've already seen that one. So now it's Bivol Beterbiev for me is the biggest fight in the sport that can be made.
Yeah, obviously, like kind of we're getting Fury Usyk this year. We'll see what happens with the guys at 135, 140. See what Canelo does, see what kind of Terence Crawford does. But I do think that Bivol versus Beterbiev will just kind of possibly be the most anticipated fight of the year. And I'm going to join you and go with Bivol as well. But that prediction could change, and we've got time to change those predictions if we want to. Niall, appreciate you joining me throughout the evening. And yeah, we'll see what is next for Artur Beterbiev. We are expecting him to face Dimitri Bivol next, and we will see what is next for Cam Smith next. So I'll speak to you soon, and thanks once again.
Thanks, guys. Take care.